So as soon as people saw this picture, a lot of people instantly got mad. There were like men that were like, oh, he's a simp because he got with a woman like Ciara, Ciara had a baby. In other words, some other man, rapper's woman's baby mama. Then you're going to have the women that are like, well, everybody just is mad at Russell Wilson because he got with Ciara and she's happy now. And look, she got her a good man and she deserved it. And then there are going to be people with 5 other opinions about this picture. But mostly people are incited and they get angry when they see them together, right? And they're not so much angry at the couple, but angry because they assume what other people are saying and thinking. So I want to tell you guys a time that I lost a friend because I shared this opinion about Russell Wilson and Ciara. And we were having a conversation. They had just gotten together and they talked about how big of a Christian man he was and how she was so lucky to get this good man. I was in a conversation with some friends about it. And I said, I'm surprised that he married her. And everybody, I go, no, wait. And this was my point. It's not that Ciara didn't deserve to be married to him. It was, did he deserve Ciara? And the reason I say that is because people always act like that whenever a man gets with a woman that has a child, that is, they're making such a huge sacrifice and she should just be so grateful. She should be so glad that she got a man like him. But then when you've got a woman that's a 19-year-old virgin and she gets with some 25-year-old or 30-year-old man that's got 3 kids by 3 different baby mamas, it's just normal. And that was the point that I was making, is that oftentimes men that say that they just want a woman with a low body count and they in the church. And so my question is that if Russell Wilson was such a Christian and so in the church, why didn't he go marry a woman that was already in the church instead of somebody that he had to bring over to it? And look, some people going to get mad. Why are you saying that? But if you would just try to listen and hear people's other point of view, because you don't have to agree with it. You really don't have to agree with other people's point of view. But my point of view is that, to me, she's just as much of a catch and a prize as he is. And when these men, because think about it, how many of y'all have been, like back whenever we was worshiping white Jesus in church and the prime men were the ministers of the church and the ministers' kids of these mega churches? I don't know about what's going on now, but when people used to go to church in the 90s and the early 2000s, whenever the ministers, the young ministers and the ministers' sons and daughters' sons got married, they would go and marry somebody that wasn't even in the church. Be some girl that he'd been dating since he was in 7th grade, a little girl that's been being kept for him and like in his harem of girls that he would be able to pick from. And he would leave and go to another state and go pick a girl and bring her back in there in a red dress with a slit up to her thigh, right? And sit on the front row and then marry her. And then she'd become, a church mama. And that was my point. My point is that oftentimes men say that they want this woman that just ain't never been nowhere and don't know nothing. But here's the deal. What is there for the church moms? What is it for the people that are keeping their black daughters in church and you can't talk to boys and keep your head in the books? The expectation is that they grow up and that the boys who are raised in the church that don't have any children, that have been just boys that was going to church and Boy Scout and Eagle Scout and Boy Scouts, and they were supposed to see these young ladies and they were supposed to get married together. But see, what we were finding is that, especially in my era, is that you would raise these girls to be these prudes that men call them, right? Telling them, keep yourself clean and don't see, and your husband should be your first person. And then we realized that the men would get up and just find whoever the prettiest, most popular one was. Because I'm sure that when we heard this whole discussion about Russell Wilson and they was praying and all that type of stuff, why did he go get a singer that was beautiful with a baby by a rapper instead of a nice young girl in the church and marry her? So my point was, or my point still is that Ciara's a catch. He went after her because she was beautiful and she was popular. Nobody knew who Russell Wilson was. I didn't know who he was until he got with Ciara. Most of us didn't. So I'm not going to do it. Nobody knew who Russell Wilson was until he got with Ciara. She helped him. She helped to increase his value, his stock, his popularity. And so when people are sitting back and telling girls, don't have a baby, Don't sleep with a bunch of men. Don't, stay in church, keep your head in the books. My point is that it really does not matter with men. It doesn't matter with them. If you are pretty and they like you, they're attracted to you and whatever else they want in a woman, they're going to pick you whether you got 5 kids, whether you got 0 kids. And the fact that we pick them whether or not they got 10 kids or 2 kids, and it's no issue. Oh, he got him a good woman. But then if a man gets with a woman that has kids, he's a simp. So that was my whole point. I said it in front of some friends, and the friends' man got mad at me because for whatever reason, and I think it was because he was dating a woman that had a child. And I kept saying, no, I'm not saying that he shouldn't be with her because he has a child. I'm saying that if he's this type of man and we're trying to raise, like you're trying to raise your daughter to be a young lady that saves herself, because he was totally Kojic, right? My point is, and so he couldn't get the point. So I've never been able to have a conversation with anybody else that could see that I'm so tired of people acting like that Russell Wilson saved Ciara and that she's so lucky to get with him, because really she's the prize. And especially like she's bigger than him, looks more athletic than him. She's very beautiful, and very feminine. So my thoughts are, he's breeding with and having children with someone. He's bred his bloodline better. So he's an athlete already. He's a good looking guy. He gets with a beautiful woman that is a dancer, athletic, right? She's fit and she can sing. And let me say again, she's beautiful and she's tall. So she really, if you want to talk about who the prize is, she's really the prize. So stop acting like that he made some sort of sacrifice and he's such a good, I don't know why we make him like he's just such a good man that he got with a beautiful woman that was already a star. How many man football players can do that?